Hi everybody, and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. Disclaimer, both OPs in this story deleted their profiles, one because of the amount of hate that he was getting, and the other one to keep anonymity. However, in my process of digging for more information, I was able to find their original usernames, and I will give you those. Now let's get started. This post is from the subreddit Am I the A-hole, and it's by user Deleted, or Estate Spirited. Am I the a-hole for revoking my daughter's college fund? I know it sounds bad, but please hear me out. When my wife and I divorced, my daughter, 14 female, took my wife's side, which I was pretty upset and surprised about. She was 12 when we separated, and we were very close, unlike her and her mother. I didn't hold it against her because she's a kid and didn't know any better, and I make the effort to see her. I love spending time with my daughter. I met my current wife 4 years ago. She was pre-law and was planning on taking loans to pay for law school. However, about 2 years later we were engaged, and I didn't want her to take on any loans, so I offered to pay for law school. She was apprehensive, but I wanted a good start to our married life, and I did not want any loans hanging over our heads, so she agreed. I used my daughter's college fund to pay for my wife's school and planned on replenishing it so that my daughter would have a fund when it was her turn to go to college. I put in a little each month. I honestly thought this was okay because when I had asked her about college at the time of doing this, she said that she wanted to go to makeup school and be a makeup artist and that college sucks. Well, apparently her mindset changed because on Sunday we met up and she was talking about advanced placement classes. I was surprised because I didn't think she was interested in school. I asked her if she was joking, but she said that she's aiming for computer science at some top private college and that her dream is to start a startup business. She then asked me if she had a college fund and she wanted to know if she should add an extracurricular or get a job. I told her the truth about her college fund and that right now there's not enough money for even a year at a private college. She then started crying and making a scene and told me that she couldn't believe that I chose my wife over her mom and now I'm choosing her again over my daughter. This is not true, since my daughter is getting a fund, just not private school tuition. She then called my wife a bunch of awful names that I won't say here. I told her that she's probably not going to get into a private school because she wasn't even serious about school 2 years ago. She called me a crap dad and ran away until her mom came to get her. Her mom later called me angrily about what I said to her and said that my daughter is on track to win some prestigious science fair award and I was way out of line with what I said and that I obviously don't know her. I was honestly so done with the BS she pulled, and her attitude toward my wife never has been good, and said that I'm probably going to revoke my daughter's college fund since she obviously doesn't deserve it with what she pulled today. My daughter is now refusing to see me and calling me by my first name. I still stand by my decision. Am I the a-hole? Yes, OP, you are the a-hole, and for many different reasons. The first one is obvious. You used your daughter's college fund to pay for your affair partner's law school. And that links to the second reason, you trying to pull one over the community by not even admitting that you cheated on your wife with your new wife. Let's check the timeline, shall we? You and your wife separated 2 years ago. However, you met your current wife 4 years ago and got engaged 2 years later. So you kinda got divorced and got engaged right away, didn't you? And of course, you didn't like that your daughter took your wife's side because why should she? It's not like her dad is scum. So now you're dangling the possibility of paying for her college unless she apologizes to your current wife. Yeah, that's the stuff great men and fathers are made of. So yeah, OP, to me, you are just one huge a-hole with arms and legs. What do you guys think? What is your judgment in this situation? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's move on to the community comments to see what they said. Dog Drawn says, so your wife was your affair partner whom you spent your daughter's college fund on. Yes, you are the a-hole in every single way. Malpheus says, you're the a-hole. In the 14th century, Dante wrote Inferno as part of a larger work. It's about the 9 circles of hell. I wish he were here today to wax poetic about the many levels and types of a-hole you truly are, for only he could truly do it justice. From a father. Zelanova77 says, OP summary. I cheated on my family, but thought I had such a great relationship with my daughter that she wouldn't mind. When she did mind, I decided to cut bait on her and all that drama and give away the money I had been saving for her college to the woman I cheated with. I mean, come on, my daughter wasn't entitled to it, but someone with no biological connection with me was. And I swear to God, I didn't do it because I resent my daughter for being upset about my selfish choices, but I really did. Now, if she doesn't just shut up and completely accept the choice I made that made her life horrible, I'm going to make her life even harder. But really, I love my daughter. Tell me what a great father I am. Am I close? OP's edit. I'm done with the rude comments about my wife. It's am I the a-hole, not is my wife the a-hole. Not that you guys deserve any additional information, but my wife really is great. I'll accept an a-hole judgment for me cheating, even though it's really not what I'm asking in this post, but everyone seems to be hell-bent on it. I was a super a-hole for cheating. Happy? My wife wasn't. When we met, I was 32 and she was 20. We had a casual relationship and I didn't mean to start it, but she was so amazing and had such a vibrant personality and I was really depressed at the time, but she helped uplift me. I didn't tell her I was married, only that I had a daughter, and I know that's bad, but I didn't feel married to my ex-wife at the time. I was so unhappy and she was too. My wife and I had an amazing relationship, and as she was going to be graduating college soon, she wanted to get serious. I told her the truth and my wife was upset, but she decided to forgive me. I proposed and introduced her to my daughter and she hoped we would be a family. She was nothing but kind to my daughter, but my daughter was hostile from the minute she met her, never gave her a chance. My daughter and my mom would play cruel pranks on her, like organizing a date and never showing up, ruining her wedding dress, spreading rumors about her to all my relatives, making fun of her to my face. My wife took the high route and forgave all of that, only speaking highly of my daughter, even to her friends. She'll brag about how pretty and amazing my daughter is and how she's sure my daughter will accept her when she's a bit older. So yes, my wife is a saint and an amazing person. Stop crapping on her, Reddit. You got your backstory. Well, the community gave their judgment and it's you're the a-hole. And then OP for some reason thought that giving up the backstory to how his relationship with his new wife started would help anything. Of course it didn't. Now, he didn't just stop there. I went digging in the comments section and just found out how big a hole OP dug himself in. So stick with me and we'll go down that hole now. I got angry with my daughter because she was so mean to my wife. You should have seen what she called her, and in public too. People were staring. And regarding her fund, she was not counting on the money. She was most likely going to take a job because she didn't know if she even had a fund. I didn't pull any rug under her. I just told her the truth to keep her informed. She then blew up at me. But if she's really so smart, she'd get a scholarship. My wife hinted that once she becomes a lawyer, she'd also contribute to a fund for my daughter because she was so grateful that I was paying for her. It would have been fine, honestly. I just don't think she deserves the fund now. Also, we're not poor and she still has 3 more years of high school. But I did hear you guys and I'm not going to revoke her fund. She still needs to apologize to her stepmom though. If my daughter maintains a relationship with her stepmom and makes up for the crap she's done to her, I won't be having my daughter turn into her mother. My ex was a toxic person and I only stayed for my daughter. I put myself through hell for my daughter. When I found my wife, I saw a chance for me and my daughter to have another family. I thought this would benefit her and me. She may not have another mom, but my wife could have been and will be a great friend and mentor to her if my daughter just opens up to her. I really thought I was doing the right thing, but I wanted to be sure before uprooting my daughter's entire family. I wanted my daughter to have something to come home to. I never thought in my wildest dreams that she'd be so bitter. She hated her mom too, for your information. They'd fight like anything. I genuinely thought she'd be happy with me and my wife. Yes, I did cheat, but I was always 100 times closer to my daughter than her mother. I was blindsided when she chose her mother and have always been asking for my daughter to move in with us. I never made it seem like my wife was more important than her in my eyes, and my wife did nothing to deserve the hate. I honestly just wanted my wife, my daughter, and I to live together as a family. My wife is so sweet and loving that I thought my daughter would love her. I can see now that her resentment of the situation clouds her judgment of my wife. However, the reality is that the only people who don't like my wife are my mom, my daughter, and my ex-wife. Even my ex's parents think my wife is a great person and a good stepmom for my daughter. My wife didn't know that I used my daughter's money and is offering to give her tuition to my daughter and work to pay off law school. See, my wife always has my daughter's best interests in mind. I told her not to, and that I wouldn't accept that money for my daughter's fund since it's already gifted to my wife. And my daughter has been such a little crap to my wife. She doesn't deserve the money, and my wife works so hard for her education. My daughter can never forgive me for all I care. I'll still continue to love her, but she needs to be a better person. Her mother is brainwashing her. Final edit to the first post. I will keep my daughter's fund and try to add enough money for private school. If she doesn't apologize and consider my wife her family though, she won't be getting it. I'd rather her be hostile to me and hate me rather than my wife since I effed up, but my wife is feeling guilty over something that's not her mistake. Oh man, OP, you are such a huge idiot. You don't understand that your daughter doesn't resent the situation. She's heartbroken because of what you did. You are her father. You were her hero. You were the one man that couldn't make a mistake. You were flawless. But then she figured out that you were scum, and that's when it happened. That's when her whole world broke, and it's all because of you, and of course, your home-wrecking wife. She might have not known that you were married because you didn't tell her, but it's kind of weird that she never figured it out in 2 years, and then she just accepted your money to pay for her college. So you can try and paint whatever picture you want to make yourself feel better, but you still suck and you're scum. And also, you called your daughter a little piece of crap. And that, plus the financial manipulation, the cheating, and the overall scumminess of you, makes you a real piece of shit. My apologies, I know I never used that language, but this OP just really got under my skin. And now let's move on to the update from this OP. So, a lot of crap went down after I posted this, or because I posted this actually. My wife called my daughter's mother because she felt bad about the situation and is sad about my relationship with my daughter. She insisted on the remaining money in the account, about $45,000, to go to my daughter in a separate fund controlled by her mother. Her mother didn't take that well and hung up on my wife after telling her that she didn't need her charity. My wife now won't talk to me because she feels that I put her in a bad position and should have told her before that the money was my daughter's because she figured that it was just extra money I had left over and not my daughter's fund. She's saying that I caused unnecessary drama and could have handled the situation way better and that she's trying her best to fix what I broke, but she's exhausted. She's currently packing to go stay with her parents for the time being, so that's that. My ex-wife is furious at me because my wife called her and she didn't want to hear my wife's bitch voice. She blew up at me for taking everything so far and is blaming me for ruining everyone's happiness. She says that I can't fix anything anymore and not to even worry about my daughter's fund because she didn't raise her daughter to get on all four knees and beg, and that she has everything figured out for her daughter now. She thanked me for putting everything in perspective and that I'm no longer permitted to visit or contact my daughter. She has full custody. I'm now sitting here typing all this out and figuring out ways to contest custody. So that's what's happening in my life right now. I just don't get how everything got all messed up when my heart is in the right place. I don't feel wrong. And there you have it. Just when you thought OP couldn't become more of an idiot, he just proves us all wrong. But it's okay, because his heart is in the right place and he doesn't feel wrong. What a jerk. Anyways, let's forget about this OP and let's move on to the final post in this story, which is from OP's ex-wife. This post is from the subreddit Am I the A-hole and is by user deleted, or throwaway toxic wife. Am I the a-hole for not dropping out of med school for my ex's mental health? So a family member, not going to say who so my ex won't curse them out, forwarded me Victor's post. Victor, if you're reading this, I honestly can't believe you. You don't give two craps about Rachel and now neither does she. I debated about posting this, but I want an answer from unbiased people who are not close to me. Also, this is not about our relationship, but whether if I was an a-hole in this situation. My ex Victor and I got married when we were only 20 years old. We'd been dating since our freshman year of high school and were in love at the time. I had aspirations towards med school, while Victor wanted to work in the tech field. However, I had to put a hold on med school for many reasons, including the birth of my daughter. After college, Victor found a nice job, so we moved to another city across the country. I found a biotech job in the same city, but I was not happy with the move because of how far I was from my family and friends. I felt lonely and was unable to make any lasting friends. Victor heard me, but he loved his job and new friends, and we didn't move until I got into med school a few years later. Although I had another offer from a school in the city we were currently at, I missed my family and support system and asked Victor if we could compromise for me this time, since we last moved for him. His company was offering the same position with higher pay if we moved too. He was unhappy about it, but agreed once Rachel also expressed her desire to be closer to her grandparents and a chance for getting a bigger house. After I started med school, Victor's unhappiness grew exponentially. He missed his friends, he didn't like his new workplace, and didn't like the toll med school was taking on me. There's so much work and hours, and I barely had any time other than for my daughter Rachel. After my first year, Victor encouraged me to drop out of med school as I clearly didn't like it because of how much work I had, and that he wanted to move back to where we were previously living. I told him that I hated it there and would only think about moving back for residency after finishing 3 more years of med school. Victor told me that he was worried that this move could cause him depression and that we had to move back. He said I was being unreasonable and I don't care about him. Reddit, was I the a-hole for not dropping out of med school and moving back to my old city for the sake of my ex? After this, you can guess what happens by going on Victor's post. It's, am I the a-hole for revoking my daughter's college fund? More information from OP's comments. We got married in 2004 when we were 20 and had Rachel in 2006. After that, we moved and we stayed for about 8 to 9 years. Around 2014-2015, I started med school, and by 2018, we were divorced. He's now 36 and I'm still 35, about to be 36. I feel the divorce was hard on him. Med school stress got to both of us, and by the end, he'd created some narrative of me and was surprised when everyone took my side. So the community judgment was not the a-hole, and OP, I agree, you were not the a-hole. Okay, so you did put off med school because your daughter was born, but then you moved for him to a place that he enjoyed in a work that he liked where he had friends, but that you were lonely and you weren't enjoying your life, and you were there for almost 10 years. But he couldn't do the same for you. He couldn't even compromise for a year. Less than a year in, he was already telling you how miserable he was and that this was going to cause him depression. That's manipulation. So he couldn't do it for the whole of your med school. You said you were going to move for residency, so he just needed to wait for 2 more years or maybe 3, and that was it. So yeah, OP, in my opinion, no, you weren't the a-hole. Victor was selfish, and of course, he was an a-hole because of all the things that we know he did. So what do you guys think about this whole story? And of course, if you'd like to give Victor a piece of your mind, please use the comment section to do so. And it's that time that we've reached the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed today's stories. I really did enjoy reading them to you. So if you did, then don't be shy and go ahead and give the video a like. And don't forget to subscribe or even share this video with people that you might think will enjoy my storytelling. Also, if you have the time, go down to the video description and check out all the links I have for you, from our Discord community to my channel merch. And finally, I'd like to say thank you for watching. It really means a lot to me that you enjoy my videos. And having said all that, I'll see you guys in the next video.